Hello and welcome to A Voice of Generation X, which is now two voices, one from Generation X, one a millennial. This is Alicia Pulver, who is now our co-host. Welcome.
I'm not the co-host. She's my best friend in the world, and she has some things that she has to say.
Well, yes, okay. So this is
So, what's been one of the worst things that you had to overcome knowing to yourself?
well. There's a few. There's a few. I would say
Yeah, we've got to go over those. Yeah,
we can go over those. Yeah, I'm totally willing to. We can get serious.
because
Definitely.
it means a lot to the people. How do I say this in the nicest way possible? You have a voice, you have a fandom, and beyond everything else, you're like a literary poet.
That's what I've always wanted. That's what I've always wanted. That's like my dreams are coming true.
And I'm sorry, my hair looks bad, you guys.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. How do you...
I mean, I had to go to the pharmacy. So, anyways, Andrea, I can tell you three things about her. She's got a heart of gold. She loves her animals completely. But more than that, she's genius.
Oh, thanks.
And so let's get to the questions.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get with the questions. We were going to make this episode about best friends and about because we are best friends who met under rather interesting circumstances.
I mean, I can let them know real quick, real brief. So we are at the hardest times of our life, and
Yeah.
we met, and she was dressed so lovely, and I was like, "How is she dressed like that?" And I was drooling on licorice,
Center, and so
and I was drooling on licorice. I mean,
yeah, and I googled Medicare detox, and this place came up, and I called them, and they said, "Well,
but they
usually
shut it
people
down.
don't."
They shut it down.
They shut it down,
So
really. Yeah, I won't be hitting them.
let's get it into you. Okay, when
Uh,
on earth did you feel that you had your very first friend?
my first friend was, I remember her well. Her name was Sarah Bernstein. She lived up the street from me. In that was elementary school. We were both little kids, and we had fun. I mean, we were just kids. We played. I mean, it was the '70s. I think she's the first friend I really remember. And when
Really? I
I don't
so when what decided to make you friends with her?
I don't remember. See, that's the thing. We met when we were such little kids that I don't remember. I think we went to the same elementary school. I think.
I mean,
So
being in
maybe not.
kindergarten is one thing, and then
But it was
when you
more like she was my neighborhood friend. She just lived up the street, and so we were both girls. So, I mean, my next door neighbor was a guy, and we were friends too. But um, yeah,
you've always been such a
blew my
gorgeous
mind.
person that
She was
it's
cool.
like one thing I have to say is I call her Andrea. You guys can call her Andrea, whatever you want it. But you're probably the most humane human being that I've ever met. I feel like I'm a gifted person just to know you. And you share so much with the world. Like when I say that, like from your books to your podcasts, you really care.
I do. I do care. I care about sharing what I've been through because I feel like other people, some people, have been through that too, and will know what I'm talking about, and it will resonate with them. And I
So, why do you think that you started your podcast? Like, what happened?
originally I started the podcast simply because I could. because Spotify cut podcasters. Seriously, not for a really good reason. Just because Spotify had just started this new thing where it was like, if you have a Spotify account, you can make a podcast. Oh dear. I was messing about a thing.
no, be
Get
honest,
back to this.
be
Yeah.
honest about
Anyway,
it.
so if you start, it was like, if you have a Spotify account, you can make a podcast, and you just talk into your phone. It's that easy, and we process it and put it on Spotify.
And
And I was like,
I'm an Apple Music person, so
yeah, I'm a
I
Spotify
never got
person.
into this, but
So I was like, well, God,
you
that's so
started
easy.
touching
I have to
people's
do it.
hearts.
And I wasn't
I
sure,
don't
like,
think
I
you
wasn't sure if
take
my material was
I
any
don't think that you
good.
take compliments in the best way, but you've been touching a lot of people's souls
Oh my
in a
God,
good
that makes
way.
me so happy. That makes me so incredibly happy.
Like, okay, for instance, if I got to be you for a day,
If you guys meet me for a day, you'd spend a lot of time sitting around the house with a bunch of cats.
that's a lot of cats.
It is a lot of
That I just
cats. It's five. I have five cats.
that would give me allergies.
Yeah.
But
I'm not allergic
what would I say to your followers?
to my followers. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being there. You encourage me and make me want to produce more content. There are days when I'm like, have I said it all? Is this enough? And then knowing you're out there and wanting to read more and hear more makes me feel really
And
more good.
just to let you guys know, Andrea's not an introvert. She just is very cautious about what she says.
Yeah. I'm kind of like an introvert, extrovert, introverted, extrovert. Like depends on who I'm with and what I'm doing.
And you know what? That's one of my favorite things about you. It's like you never put anyone down. You don't have any negative like vibes going for other people.
I mean, at the moment,
Like
there's no one I really feel like
I mean,
mad at.
we
I
know
mean,
some people. I know some people that I'd like to, but
yeah, I mean, at
I've
this
got.
point, there's people that are like my exes, or people that
And by the
will.
way,
I got dumped
can
last
I
night. I
can
was,
I let you know, ladies and
yeah.
gentlemen, that she relocated, and she relocated not just for herself. She relocated because it was going to make her have a perfect life, and that's what we want for her.
Mhm. Thank you. I'm so glad it worked out because when it first happened, when I relocated, when I moved to Reno, Nevada, which is where I live now, from Los Angeles, I was scared. I was sad. I was just horrified to be evicted because that had never happened to me before. I had no idea. You only got 4 years in an apartment, and I thought because I had a rent controlled apartment in Hollywood, I could live there forever. And oh no, that's not how it works. So yeah, but
So well,
no,
and
I
then
love it here. Yeah.
sometimes you have people that take advantage of you. And the one thing that Andrea and we have, or I'd like to call her Andrea.
You can call me Andrea. I don't mind at all. It's much
um,
easier.
we have two things in common. Number one, we would never hurt each other. Number two, ultimate respect for each other.
Absolutely.
And it took years to get that, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, it takes
I,
years
I
to
mean,
get each other.
for like friendships, they just don't evolve like in one day.
No, it
You
takes
have
time. It takes time. It takes years and days and good times and bad times. And I mean, I just think back to all those times we spent in the backyard of Sarah's house before we.
you know how fun it was when
You would be
like
smoking cigarettes, and I would just be sitting there listening and love watching. And sometimes there's these weird characters would come
well
up
I knew that, so I knew something about you which you didn't know. I was like, she needs somebody to be aware of her
I know.
and
I
to
needed a
take care of her.
that. I did because I had just gotten sober, And I was just like, the world is different. My interactions with the world are different. Everything is different. I stopped drinking. I stopped um,
I mean,
other things
you
that were
you you
illegal.
stop the vast
Doing the
majority
street.
of anything that can hurt you,
Yeah, I stopped doing
right?
anything that can hurt me. I stopped the jet set
Well,
destination.
now
Stuff.
they say like everything can hurt you in the world. They're like, oh, do you eat this food? Do you eat that food? I'm like,
Oh right, yeah. Like I'm not vegan. There's a big difference between being vegan and being a drug addict.
I mean, I was a vegan for 4 years, and
Yeah, there's
you
nothing
kind
wrong
of.
with being vegan. If you want to do it, do it.
I mean, the only reason I did it was
I just
because
my young morning
I
eat
saw a chicken
now.
get their head cut off.
Oh yeah, that's gruesome. Yeah, it's gruesome. I prefer not to think about what happened to the meat before I eat it. I just eat it.
Yeah, but protein is positivity,
Yeah, I mean protein is good.
and
When
you
I
know
was a
what?
vegetarian, I was really anemic. I was a vegetarian for like 6 years, and I just didn't have the same kind of strength I have now, and I don't know if
So,
it's
what do you think changed that?
partially eating meat and partially moving to San Francisco, which simply required that strength so completely that I had to like hop to it and get harder and get stronger and get more able to deal with just the bombardment of situations of people.
Life on life's terms.
Yeah, life on life's terms. Like if I wanted to live in the big city, I had to be able to walk the walk and talk the talk and go to work and go home
I
and
mean, you're my
deal
hero,
with that shit. And
personally, you're my hero,
oh, thank you. That means a lot. Oh my god.
and because you have so much wisdom to let the world know, like they're not alone.
You're not alone. There are people who have been through
Yeah,
this.
you know that song by Sia, like "I'm Only Human" or whatever, or "Human."
I think I've heard it. Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the most beautiful messages that, like, we're only flesh and blood. But you know what? Your spirit can be so much bigger.
Yeah, this is true.
And that's what you taught me.
So sweet.
We've known each other for years, and like we didn't have to be in the best places every single time, but you taught me what it's like to love humans unconditionally.
Thank you. Yeah, because I do love you unconditionally. I mean, we've been through so much. There's no way I could lose you. I mean,
So Andrea has probably three life practices. What are they?
3 life practices. Okay, they are staying up as late as you want, and when I get manic, because I fully accept and own myself and my illnesses and all of what they entail,
But it took you a while to
which
get
did
there. How
take
long
a
did
really long time to get to that point. It was
how
really,
how long did it take you to get there?
oh my god, probably until I was 45, and I'm 47 now. It really wasn't up until right recently, and like especially going on dating sites and realizing that if I was going to like
Yeah, because yeah, people
function
will
and put
think,
myself out there, I had to also be honest about certain things, like that if
but
I
also you and I, we
if I
were like, we were friends within this, you know.
yeah, and we were friends. Alicia was the one who was like, "You should try this. It's really fun." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I don't know about dating sites. I went on one and I met a. It didn't work out, and it really used me
And
in a
by
bad
the way,
way."
by the
and
way, that's something that you need to talk about a little bit
yeah, I
more.
mean, I met someone on a dating site that conned me, and I believed her, and I married her, and we had this relationship until I realized how many lies
And,
and
and
lies.
well, also you got really bad COVID.
And I got COVID really bad, so bad that I could not function, and she was not helping at all. She was just off partying and doing God
and
knows
and
what. So,
probably you didn't know what else to do.
and I didn't know what else to do. I didn't feel like it was safe to have her in the house anymore because of the things I was afraid she was doing. I felt very responsible for the property and for what went on there, and I felt like I had to get out of the situation as ASAP. I mean, yeah, so I, as soon as I could handle using a phone and using a computer, which I lost the ability for, my COVID was that bad, um, I filed and got the divorce going, and we got divorced.
And that takes a lot of courage and gumption to do that.
It was tough. It was tough. I mean, and it was hard living with her for the month afterwards
But
too.
like other people might be going through the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I came out lucky in that because I got the divorce only after 2 years. After 6 years, they can get alimony from you,
And well,
which I didn't
also if you go ahead
know it.
and do the annulment, like if anyone's like a newly abusive relationship that they got married into,
Yeah, I could have gotten an annulment. I wanted an annulment because I was originally widowed and I wanted to honor my first wife that way. But my father, who's an attorney, told me that it's just so much easier to get a Nevada no fault divorce, and I was
she's
like, oh,
from really good. How do I say this? Your mother's really healthy. Your father's incredibly intelligent. I'm sure your mom's incredibly intelligent as well.
she's a microbiologist.
I'm not gonna walk half done with you guys anytime
She's
soon.
sweet. Yeah, so
It's,
they're my parents.
but you're from good stock, and beyond that, she's always been lovely to everyone that's been around her.
That happened with sobriety. A lot of it really did because it softened me.
Mm,
I mean, it made
I
me able
think
to
you
be kind but keep the wall up inside. When before it was like I would
I think
I
that
was
you
that.
legitimately have just a heart of gold.
Oh, thank you. I mean, some of it too was being married to Katie and realizing what it was like to love and be loved so completely, and having that wonderful, wonderful experience and the wonderful, wonderful 4 years we spent together. I mean, even though they ended so tragically, I'm thankful that we had that time.
You want me to ask some questions about Katie?
Yeah, ask some questions. I mean,
Okay, so what made this person change you?
she changed me a lot. She changed me from being a hard, sort of ambitious to the point that, well, I was still ambitious with her, but I wanted to include her. I wasn't ambitious in the way that I just didn't care about anyone other than
So
myself.
you softened your soul,
Yeah, she softened my soul. She made me. I mean, I loved her so much. She was the first.
and I've been hearing about her latest her the one widow that I think that means anything to her, and you keep blaming yourself.
I don't blame myself anymore. I finally stopped. I went back in my old manuscripts, and I have a manuscript called
Uh,
Katie Rising that's about her, and it covers from all the way from how we first met and the first beautiful blossoming of our romance and our big, big, beautiful wedding, and then
it was beyond that.
what else?
You guys were so close,
We were so close, and when it went wrong, it went so wrong.
and
I made big
you
mistakes.
loved her family. They loved
I
you.
loved her family. I mean, we were so good together, and I'm so sad it ended, and I'm so sad she's dead. I so
I
wish
mean,
I could.
and by the way, just folks, so you know, she had nothing to do with um her passing. She unfortunately took her life.
Yeah, she did, and I woke up in bed next to her, and she was dead, and
I mean, that's a huge thing for you to
that's
say.
probably the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to me. And
And like because we've talked about it so frequently because we're best friends, I just want to be encouraging you every day, every day. Because
Yeah,
you
I
know
mean,
what?
this time of
The
year is
world, the world, your fandom, everything.
doesn't. It's nice to learn those people are out there because sometimes I do feel very alone. I mean,
You should never feel alone.
I feel like she was
No,
my
no one
first love,
should.
and then my ex-wife was just my attempt at
We
her,
don't even
but
have to. We're not getting to her.
I don't want to talk about her because she's still out there living her life
But
and
Katie,
whatever.
Katie loved you.
But Katie really loved me sincerely and heartfelt. She was, we were a real couple. We weren't just a con artist and someone who's being conned who is slowly slipping into like COVID. Oh God, I don't know. I almost died. I couldn't walk for a while. Oh, we're having a connection issue. Okay. Wow. Oh gosh. That's Oh dear. Well, we're having a connection issue, so I guess since we're at 20 minutes. Oh, okay. We lost Alicia. As we're at 20 minutes, we're going to stop here. Thank you so much for watching and listening to A Voice of Generation X with Andrea Lambert and special guest Alicia Pulver. And we will be back soon. We're going to make this a regular thing. So thank you for listening.